Welcome to the special episode of the Chiefs, and of course with us are Ana Marie Pamintuan of the Philippine Star and Robbie Alampay of One News. Lady and gentlemen, welcome back. As usual, our usual barkada.
Can kay Robbie?
Yeah, I can hear you guys now. Ami, give us an idea kung anong mga headline bukas.
Di yung 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 vote of confidence for Secretary Duque, of course.
Oh yeah.
And at the same time, tinanggap na yung resignation ni Yusek Rio.
Surprisingly. Diba, we had him just last week, diba?
Yeah.
We had him last week. And,
natin,
yeah.
Diba?
And last week he did not seem to be on the way out anymore.
Yeah.
In fact, ang usapan na last week with Secretary Rio was parang na-plancha na lahat eh. So parang the impression he gave us was hindi natatanggapin. And apparently
tinatanong siya kanina sinabi niya ayaw na niya mag-comment kasi mahirap daw na magulo ngayong pandemic na to. So he doesn't want to comment.
And ang sabi niya,
actually he went out of his way to try to quell yung katulad ng mga pagtatanong mo ngayon, Ed. Sinabi nga ni Rio, sasabihin ko na po, wala munang intriga para muna tayo.
Pero ang kasi we tried to get him kanina for One News and News 5. Ang sabi niya, he wants to wait for the official announcement. So parang parang hindi pa siya sasabihan kanina.
Hindi siya nasabihan.
Which is quite unfortunate kasi nga until last week we all had the impression, apparently he also had the impression that he was staying on.
Yeah. Baka may makuha kayong reaction doon kay Mr. Purissima.
And that's the other one.
Yun.
Deputy Administrator ng Office of Civil Defense. And sa kanya parang matinding sa kanya kasi loss of trust and confidence.
That's right. Loss of confidence
on the part of the President.
So ito pang isang full confidence si General Sinas, of course. Although iba-iba sinasabi ng mga tao na tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung kaso niya, kahit may sinabi sa vote of confidence din si Presidente, tuloy-tuloy yung kaso. So yun.
Lininaw yan sa atin ni Undersecretary Malaya, di ba, the other day, that as far as the ILG is concerned, we respect the President, but the law is the law is the law, and meron pa rin daw, meron din silang version, the law is the law is the law sa DILG. And they're saying na, hindi, it's a criminal offense and there are administrative cases and tuloy on both levels.
Yes.
Pero sa fiscal pupunta yan, di ba? Ang fiscal lang mag-decide kung tatayo yung kaso, hindi.
Saka yung internal affairs, yung administrative, medyo mabigat din yung pwede siya matanggal.
Pero pag sinabi ba ng Pangulo na walang problema yan anong gagawin ng Internal Affairs Service?
Medyo independent naman yan tayo IAS, diba?
Kaya lang sinabi na, but that's the reality. Di ba sinabi rin ng Pangulo, akin na yan. Diba?
Oo nga. Saka during the pandemic daw, paano kung matapos yung pandemic sa 2022 pa, no? Hindi daw niya tatanggalin.
But before we go to...
Because on the one hand, the President said, di ba, ako text din naman ng Presidente, or at least he has room to say this, is that at this moment in time, ayokong bitawan dahil kailangan ko. And then you can have the DILG saying, at some point in the future, may pagtutuos. Di ba? Maybe that's one way of reconciling it.
Pwede. Tinitingnan siguro reaction ng mga...
Pero siguro may may prescriptive period siguro yan.
That's true.
Baka 2022.
Because
ilang taon yan.
Because in the meantime, si General Sinas nag-move on na.
Diba? Sabi nga niya, di ba? But one thing, before we move on to our guests, one thing that I'd like to fish information from you guys about is yung kay Purissima. Kasi that almost seemed to come out of the blue. What was that about? And what could have been the catalyst for this?
Wala rin kaming walang masyadong no details. Baka bukas dahan-dahan maglalabasan yan.
I have to admit ako rin that caught me off guard. And sa totoo lang, nakatuon ako ng pansin kay Undersecretary Rio. Di ba? I almost didn't see that until Malacanang, until it came from Malacanang. And then, ayun nga, that signals both the fact that it came from the spokesperson Harry Roque and the wording was very explicit that it was for loss of trust and confidence.
That's major.
Yes.
That's like a dishonorable discharge.
Yeah. Ang story lang kay Purisima is that it was about corruption. Allegations of corruption. So, hindi pa natin
kasi loss of trust and confidence eh.
Yeah.
I did a quick look up of Purisima. Dati siyang CVC law. CVC. Of course, Task Force Bangon Marawi. Spokesman siya.
Yes.
I think as spokesman, I'm not sure kung hawak niya pera, pero at least spokesman siya. And ano siya? Kennedy School of Government, Harvard.
Okay.
And also Boston Law.
But in the current context, he's still involved in IATF, di ba? That's the current context.
Sige.
I'm not really sure. Is he? I'm not familiar. OCD. So I don't know really where they come in. But again, I don't know. Personally, I don't know.
Yeah, it was a question on my part also. I don't know. That's not a factual statement.
Bukas pa tayo, bukas.
Anyway.
So many points of interest. But yet another point of interest, and we have had some discussions on this in the previous week. Sabi nga natin, di ba, this crisis can also be a potential for restructuring a lot of things. And one major restructuring that needs a lot of restructuring is yung situation in EDSA. And for that tonight, we have somebody who will talk about the possible reforms dun sa EDSA bus system that has been tagged by a lot of people as one of the major causes of traffic in EDSA. At least one of them. That's not the only cause of traffic. Si Mr. Eduardo Yap, let's bring him in already. Siya po yung chairman ng National Affairs Committee ng FINEX, yung Financial Executives Institute of the Philippines. That's Mr. Eduardo Yap coming on stream. Hi, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Yap.
My pleasure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have Robbie there, and we have, of course, Ami, and I'm Ed. Sir, we did a quick introduction of you and some proposals that I think your group has drawn up. And we have had some discussions before on this topic, but mukhang very particular yung inyong mga suggestions ngayon eh. Kasi ang sabi nga nila, di ba, now is the time if you want to do any significant changes in EDSA, dun sa traffic system natin, sa PUV system natin in particular, now is the time to do it kasi ngayon talagang pwedeng back to zero lahat. You can build from scratch.
Exactly.
Tell us, sir, about it.
That's exactly what I wrote in my article. Don't waste a crisis in the Philippine Star. That was a Monday, May 11, I guess, no? And then I said that this period wherein we are shifting, we are transitioning to normal activities is the right time to introduce, to dry run a new transportation system. And through it, I can share with you some recent developments because Secretary Tugade invited me to a meeting with his transportation team. And, you know, the meeting extended up to 3 hours. And I can say in all confidence that all the concepts, the principles, the plans, the objectives of ours on both sides are all aligned. And I can say with all confidence that Secretary Tugade is determined to institute reforms. And he is going to do that when the lockdown is shifted to general community
GCQ.
quarantine. Yes.
Sige, sir, give us the lowdown, sir. Yung napagkasunduan ninyo, at least yung in principle, ano yung mga napagkasunduan, yung mga konsepto na pwede nang isalang?
Okay, ganito, no? Gusto niyo bang makita muna yung slides para makita natin yung problema? Because the solutions are based on the problems.
Okay.
No? Yeah, yung slide na yun, yung slide na yan, number 2, I guess, will show you the problem. Slide number 2. Nandyan ang problema. No? Kitang-kita natin on both sides, baradong-barado. And at the center, nakikita natin the solution has been staring at us for 2 decades. The solution is a dedicated transit way. like these rail trucks, no? So, ang mangyayari dito is that there will be a dry run, and that a new busway will be established, will be put in place at the median beside the MRT tracks. Kasi sa ngayon, yung ating yellow bus lane, it has been there for decades. And we know for a fact it has been proven to be ineffective. Just look at that picture. The yellow bus lane are useless. So what we are suggesting is that we conform to the global standard. The
Sir,
universal.
lilinawin ko lang ito, if you don't mind. When you say the median and the lanes next to the, you're referring to the innermost lanes of EDSA. You're saying the innermost, okay, the innermost lanes are EDSA. Okay, go ahead.
I have an illustration to show that, no? Para maliwanag, no? It will be adjacent to the MRT 3 tracks. And I have a picture to show that, no? You can go to slide number 5. Number 5. Yan ang konsepto, no? Look at the center box. The dedicated busway should be at the innermost lanes, adjacent to the MRT trucks. And when they are located there, they can be isolated from other traffic. They can be protected, so much so that, like in that previous slide, you saw that even if both sides are congested, the MRT3 continues to run. In the same manner, etong bagong busway na andyan sa loob, sa inner lanes, will not be disturbed.
Sir, this is very interesting, and personally, it reminds me of the bus rapid transit system in Jakarta, where the buses have a dedicated lane in the middle, innermost lane. But in that case, you need infrastructure because the stations will have to be in the middle of EDSA as well. How will that work? Kung wala right now, ang mga bus stop is on the outermost lane.
Yes.
How will it work? You're going to have to put bus stops in the middle of EDSA.
Ito, let's go to slide number 6 para makita niyo yung konsepto. Slide number 6. Okay. Not that one. Slide number 6. That's 7. That is
The one before.
Sa slide number 6 tayo. Yan ang ideal na dedicated busway. At the center island will be the passenger platform. It's just like a railroad, like a subway, And then on both sides of the platform will be the two lane busways in each direction, So there you can see that the buses can continue to run without interruption from adjoining traffic because may separator yan, Now, your question is very relevant. How can passengers go to this center platform? Okay. Now, the MRT has overhead bridges, They can be dual purpose for this. Now, but then you mentioned that our buses now are equipped with right side doors. So let's go to the succeeding slide. The next slide.
Yun ang tatanong ko sana, Mr. Yap. Kasi there are a lot of bus owners, and they will need to change yan na nga, yung ng pinto ng kanilang buses.
Yes, tama.
Gaano kalaki ang magiging cost niya? You will have to change the driver's seat. Meron din ba yung kailangang baguhin dun sa pwesto ng engine, tapos kailangan mo maglagay ng pinto, di ba?
Ang pinto, kailangan
Babaguhin mo. I mean, how much will that entail for a typical bus, yung bago nating mga bus?
to retrofit with left side doors, hindi naman major undertaking yan. At hindi naman kung gaanong kamahal yan. No? Tsaka isa pa, hindi apektado ang engine, even the driver seat is not affected because the left side doors can be placed at the center. No? And then what will happen, you can you can eliminate the steps down. By doing so,
By raising the platform.
you increase the capacity so that the platform is aligned to the floor of the bus. Kaya mangyayari dyan, easy step in, easy step out, just like in a subway. As of now, what happens is that passengers have to step down, no? Step down, 2 steps pa nga to go down or 2 steps to go up. That takes a lot of time. And an efficient transportation system, every second counts. So that's why the platform must be aligned to the floor of the buses.
Yeah.
Yan ang konsepto.
So, ibig sabihin yan, isa ko pang napansin, medyo maraming mawawalang bus stop dyan. If you're going to put it in the middle of EDSA, no? Kasi yung gitna ng EDSA, yung ilalim ng light railway sakop na nung pader niya pataas, di ba? So ang matitiran lang dyan yung mga station stops actually. Saka siguro may konting na lang na madadagdag na stops. Paano yun? Alam niyo naman ng mga Pilipino, gusto kalagitnaan ng kalye, bababa sila.
May solution dyan. In fact, that solution has been in place for so long. Dito lang sa atin may problema ang ganyan Maski na saan gustong bumaba o sumakay ang pasahero, alam nyo, sa Jakarta, na-solve na nila yan. In fact, I have a slide to show you. But before we go there, can we go to slide number 7 muna? Slide number 7.
Okay.
Slide number 7 because sa ngayon, the buses are equipped with right side doors, di ba? And it takes a little time to retrofit the buses with left side doors. So, ito yung ideal. Now, let's go to the next slide. I will show you the interim solution. Hindi po yan. Slide number 7. Slide number 7 is the interim solution. Yan. Okay? Yan ang interim solution because the buses are equipped with right side doors. That's why yung temporary platform will be at the right side of the busway.
Yeah. But sir, ang nakikita ko lang, particularly in creating the platforms, this is going to be a major undertaking. It's not as major as building a sub, but it is still a major undertaking in terms of having to build those platforms, isn't it? Especially in certain areas where, for example, may pailalim at merong ibabaw. Right now, ang ibabaw po natin ang ginagamit nating major bus stops. You look at EDSA Central, you look at Pitwason, and so on. But if you're staying on the inner lane, you're going to bypass a major, a few very major bus stops right now.
Ganito, in solving a long-standing problem, you look at the positives, you look at the whole picture, and by shifting the bus lane to the median, you solve a lot of problems. You make it more efficient, you optimize it. But certainly, there are some problems, admittedly, because hindi naman ang EDSA is not equipped for this, no? So there has to be some adjustments. There has to be some workarounds, and that is possible. In fact, I can say that the DOTR has already identified, I think, 14 stations that will be utilized on EDSA. No? Meron talaga dyan. Not only that, let me as well tell you, some of the other problems. One is the overpass ramps at EDSA Ayala. The down ramp is eating up 2 lanes, hindi ba? May work around yan. You know, if you have time, I have a simulation to show you how it will work. Now, it can work. Na simulated na yan sa computer, no? And another one, there is the up ramp going to Rockwell, no? Again, that poses an obstacle, but may work around po yan. Hindi naman ma-perfect natin because of these existing structures. Another one, in front of Robinson, Pobeda, hindi ba may up ramp yan going to Green Hills, no? Yan. So kailangan may mga work-around solutions, but it can be done. Do not allow this obstacle to institute a solution that will help solve the problem of buses being stagnant. Because right now, look at the yellow bus lane.
Well, sir, actually, I think we all agree that we shouldn't let bad habits get in the way of good proposals. I'm just trying to wonder. I'm just trying to imagine. Kasi you know how people are. Ngayon, pag well, hindi ngayon pero before COVID-19, ang mga tao pag nagabang ng bus yan when the bus lanes were on the right side, sasakupin nila yung first 2 lanes doon sa outer side. And generally maraming tao ayaw gumamit ng ayaw maglakad para papunta doon sa mga MRT stations. And if the MRT stations are the ones that we are going to be using for people to get onto the bus ramp, that will take a major rethinking of how Filipinos do things, di ba? So may ganon.
May solution dyan. Okay, you go to slide number 10. The solution is there. You know, our commuters have been used, nasanay sila yung anywhere they want to ride.
Tsaka tatawid kahit saan sa EDSA.
Ito.
Hanggang ngayon
This is the solution. Okay? So you idiot-proof the loading and unloading to compel the commuters to go to the stations and the drivers to go to the station simply by raising the level of the platform. So obligado, the drivers will have to go there to load and unload passengers. The passengers will have to go to the stations. Kaya you solve bad habit.
Sir, I think same point as Ed. I think we're all in the same boat in wanting these solutions, and certainly these solutions, marami na ring my question really has to do with just managing my own expectations and people's expectations, especially now that people are preparing for ECQ, GCQ, a return to work, and they're going to have to social distance. But everything that you're talking about right now, this will entail, as we said, major construction. It's not for the immediate term, no? I mean, I'm just trying to manage expectations here that this really do go to medium to long term planning and implementation. This is not going to be for the immediate term.
Actually, if I may say so, no, you know, this project can be implemented in stages. Stage 1 will require only some civil works, no, because the existing stairs and the air bridges of MRT3 can be dual purposed. Okay, so you don't have to construct new bridges, no. Okay, what will be needed is to construct those platforms. Yan namang platforms, nakita nyo, flat lang yan eh. Ano ba namang major civil work yan? It's just a raised platform. Napaka-simple na construction yan, no? So it's not a major infrastructure, okay? Now, ang magiging major if, let's say, you decide to build new bridges, okay? Let us say that you don't want to use the MRT bridges. Then, okay, now you have to build your own bridges. That's where the CapEx expenditures will come in. As
Mr.
far
Yap, anong reaction ni Secretary Tugade? Because you said you talked to him for about 3 hours this week. Siyempre, tatanungin nun, magkano bang gagastusin yan? And did you discuss any timetable for it? Kasi we're all wondering what can be done in a pretty short time during this pandemic.
alam nyo,
Yes. Ano yung mga sinabi niya na siguro sa funding requirements, yung mga short term, yung sinabi niyong first phase, did you discuss it?
Unang-una, ang CapEx expenditures for phase 1 ay napakaliit because you are using existing structures, yung bridges ng MRT3. You are using existing rolling stock. So you don't have to spend for those. What you will be spending only is for the temporary platform. Plataforma lang yan parang entablado lang yan, napakadali at mura lang yan. Now, you ask funding. Now, you know for a fact, meron tayo ng road user fund. Okay? And we put that to good use. We solve this problem because, this traffic congestion problem is causing a lot of damage, okay? And a lot of disruption. For instance, the economic cost, for instance, before JICA estimated it cost us 2.4 billion pesos per day. When was that? That was almost 10 years ago. By now, it should be about 3.5 billion pesos per day. No? So that is the cost penalty that we are incurring. Now, what about the social cost? Commuters take 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours to commute. So there is this social cost as well. And in addition to that, the damage to our environment, public health, the air pollution is causing a lot of respiratory diseases. That's why public health costs keeps on going up. No, we have to look at this. Of course, there are some problems, but they can be solved. Our attitude would be, or rather should be, to solve the problems in order to achieve the bigger picture. No? And I tell you, the commuters, that busway, it's nothing new. Railroads have been invented, 200 years ago. Ang konsepto, proof of concept has been established. When you have a dedicated transit way, tuloy-tuloy ang daloy ng either train or bus, this concept has been proven. Now, dedicated busway naman, 47 years ago pa yan. Proof of concept has been established in Curitiba. And by 2018, there are a total of 146 systems worldwide. And every day, with over 30 million passenger trips per day. No? So established na yan. We adopt that concept. We are already using that concept in the case of MRT3. I-replicate lang yan for buses. No? So it's nothing new actually.
So anong timetable niya for phase 1, for example?
Well, ito, no? I can tell you in our meeting, ikaw, it took you 3 hours, Amy, no, to meet with Secretary. Ako naman, invited me to a meeting, 3 hours din kami. And we look at all the angles. Now, timetable-wise, they are working every day to implement, to have the drive.
I did not meet with the Secretary. I was asking you about your meeting with the Secretary.
June 1st.
Yeah.
June 1st ang target date of implementation
Wow.
or upon shifting to GCQ. Okay? Now, why is it? It's just a matter of 2 weeks because they've been working, I tell you. See, yung team ni Secretary has been working on route restructuring, on rationalization of franchises. These franchises were issued 30, 40 years ago with thousands of buses in Metro, 4,600 buses in Metro Manila. They have been working to sort this out. So by the time that this plan is complemented with the new busway, tamang-tama, it dovetails because you need the busways in order to increase the efficiency of these buses. Kung halimbawa lang, merong ng restructuring of routes, merong franchise rationalization, but kung yan pa ring yellow bus lane na yan, it won't work. It has to be complemented with these new busways. So that's why Secretary Tugade is determined. He told us he is not happy with this status quo. He's not happy. So he wants reform. He wants change. And I can tell you, based on our meeting, change is coming. And I mean, Philippine Star has a big role in this one because
Yeah.
my article, uh, Don't Waste a Crisis, was published in Philippine Star.
Mhm.
And that was on Monday, no? May 11. And then May 14, I made a presentation of these plans. No? That was a Thursday. The following day, Friday, Philippine Star reported on the forum, no? And the presentations that we made. So it's there now. So it's important for media, to expose ideas like this because, we have been suffering for decades. We cannot continue this way. Other major cities, imagine Metro Manila has a daytime population of 20 million people. We cannot allow an inefficient transportation system to continue. The resiliency of our city is so bad. Every time malakas lang ulan, work is suspended, classes suspended. In Hong Kong, because of their very efficient mass transit, they can shut down only a few hours before a typhoon hits. And after the typhoon passes, they open for business already. Not in our case. We shut down the whole day. We shut down for 2 days. That's why ang resiliency natin is very bad. And it's because of our transportation system. So,
Okay.
Secretary Tugade realizes this, and he's gonna solve it.
Okay, we'll support any reform in the transportation sector.
Thank
Anything
you.
that will make us
That
move,
should be our
that will
attitude.
make us move faster along EDSA especially.
Yes.
Mr. Eduardo Yap of the Financial Executives Institute of the Philippines, marami pong salamat for joining the Chiefs. We've run out of time.
Thank you.
We'll just
Thank you
pause
po.
for a break. Stay right there. The Chiefs will be back. Welcome back to this special episode of the Chiefs. We're still waiting for our next guest to connect with us. Unfortunately, as we've often said during this quarantine, there are limits to technology. We're still waiting. We're still hoping to get him in at least yung mga print. We're still with Robbie Alampay, of course, of One News, and Ed Lingao of TV5. At least yung dyaryo, ganun pa rin ang takbo namin. Although mahirap ngayon mag-deliver, ano? Lumabas na yung dyaryo namin, at least. Ang mga ano natin, well, we've mentioned the latest headlines, yung mga natanggal, yung hindi matatanggal, yung mga baka matanggal. Tapos meron pang latest, no more extension daw of the payment of taxes, which will be next month. Ewan ko kung paano kung wala ka, Robbie? Kung wala kang access to the internet, how do you pay taxes?
I really don't know. I mean, it's something that I will look forward to getting the details here. But alam natin that malaking bagay ito. This has been weighing on the minds of a lot of people, if not in the back of their minds. Certainly, di ba? Kasi lumipas yung Abril pa lang. And people were actually starting to prepare as early as March. We'd like to believe people were trying to prepare as early as March. Lumipas yung Abril. And I think it's the same question. In fact, that's the story. It's the question of people on how they're gonna manage this. Kung wala ng extension.
Pero the law is the law is the law. So,
Yeah.
so walang lusot.
Mag-boom corporate, di ba? Puro online. Okay lang yung kumpanya, may mga contact yan sa BIR. Paano kung individual ka? Saka lalo na yung maliliit na hirap na nga ngayong quarantine. Paano yun?
Yeah.
Pero
At saka it's two sides there, di ba? People who have to pay their taxes, and then the government that needs those taxes.
Yes.
Di ba? Ngayon pa, talagang kailangan natin lahat ng pera in the public coffers to do what we need to do.
Yun ang sinabi ni Sunny Dominguez sa kanang BIR. We really need
So the deadline is the 15th, tama? The 15th of June.
Yeah. Paano yung mga walang hindi marunong mag-file ng online?
No, ng electronic, di ba?
Kahit ako kung hindi kumpanya nagpa-file, medyo mahihirapan din ako online. Although isang upside niyan, di ba? Mababawasan yung contact with the people. Pwedeng mabawasan yung temptation for facilitation fees. Hindi naman natin inaakusahan yung mga BIR na hihingi ng facilitation fee. Pero yun ang isang upside nun. Kaya lang mas marami nag-worry na how are we gonna file our taxes?
Just the other day I was hosting I hosted an online forum with BSP Governor Benjamin Jokno. This was hosted by FinTech Alliance. And this was one of the things that was a recurring theme. Na marami tayong tanong, how do you do online transactions and so on? But the reality, something that will obviously play into here is, the reality is, during this lockdown, maraming Pilipino ang dumagsa and learned. Diba? People suddenly, people who didn't know anything about e-payments, who didn't have e-wallets, who didn't have accounts online, it'd be very hard pressed to find a Filipino right now who will still say that they don't know anything about e-transactions and so on. Kahit paano dumagsa. Now, that's still a different leap from having to pay your taxes online. Obviously, that's a much more complicated process. But if there's anything that people are hoping to take out of this, one better normal that they're hoping for is that this has engendered and compelled, if not incentivized people to really study this question of how do I do more things online.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure si DICT Secretary Gringo nasa doon from Mr. 310. And is doing other things now with the smartphone.
Yeah, we can try bringing in our guest again, and we can ask him about this. Sige. Maybe we can try Mr. Forbes.
Hello.
Hi, John.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, hi,
Okay.
Amy.
Hi, John.
Hey.
Hi, sir. Good evening po.
How are you?
Well, let me introduce you first. Joining us is Mr. John Forbes, Senior Advisor of the Arrancada Philippines Project of the American Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines. Mr. Forbes is also a private business consultant, author, and public speaker. So welcome to the Chiefs, finally.
Good. Thank you. It's
Okay, did you
my
freeze?
pleasure to be with you tonight.
Yeah. Good to see you. We're with Ed Lingao of TV5 and
Hi.
Robbie Alempay of One News.
Hi.
I think you know both of them.
Yeah.
I'm particularly interested in your Arrancada project. You know, the AmCham and the Joint Foreign Chambers who come out every year with an assessment of the ways the Philippines can accelerate, the economy can accelerate faster. That's the Arrancada. Now, given this pandemic, John, how can we accelerate? How can we Arrancada?
You're a little bit scratchy, but
Oh,
we have been trying to work on different
yep,
sectors over the years, and we produce policy papers, recommendations, engage in meetings, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, the economy has been growing at 6% or so for quite a long time, with very few interruptions, except in 1968 and 1971, since the terrible dip in 1984 and 1985. So Philippines has been one of the very good growth stories in Southeast Asia for the last decade or so. But it's got a lot of potential and a lot of potential that still has to be realized. But nobody put into their plans what's happening now. This is
Yeah.
unprecedented. And we can. Which part of it do you want to talk about? I know
yes.
you've been guests.
I'll just
Robbie has
repeat
been
my
a
question.
modern.
With this terrible pandemic, how do we accelerate? What has happened to all these recommendations of the Arrancada project? How do we Arrancada, John, with this pandemic?
Well, essentially, they're on hold.
Everything is
Because
on
we
hold.
hadn't implemented as many. I mean, I think if we had done more of what we all knew should be done in the past, we might be in a better situation.
Yeah.
For example, I was just watching my good friend Eddie Yap
Yep.
talk about the traffic
Yep.
situation. Well, lots of countries have traffic situations when they go through this kind of growth. We saw it in Seoul, we saw it in Shanghai. So it's very, very common. But then they build their way out of it. And one of the ways they build their way out of it, particularly if we went up to Shanghai about the time of that big World Fair a number of years ago, they jumped from 1 or 2 subway systems to a dozen in a couple of years with the tunnel boring machines. Maybe that's a little bit more difficult to do here. You don't have that much money, but it's taken so long.
Yeah.
I'll give you examples you're very familiar with. LRT-1 South Extension. LRT-1 was one of the first light rail systems in Southeast Asia, right at the end of the Marcos administration, with Belgian equipment and financing. But why did it take 20 years to get to the point where they broke ground very ready to build it? Very, very slow.
Yeah.
Similarly, the MRT-7 that's now under construction also took a long time before they began to break ground.
Yeah, yeah, but John,
Nevertheless,
in the immediate term, in these very abnormal times, as you said, we're starting from a stopped position.
stations.
I'll rephrase.
If you count,
I don't think we're hearing each other. I can still hear John talking, but it's scratchy as well. We may need to
I
bring
think
John back again, I suppose.
I think John's signal is frozen. Actually,
Yeah, but he was still talking. Okay, we'll try to bring him back again because I think it's disconnected.
Yep. See the limits of technology, no? But I think
but I
we're
mean,
able
but
to
you
do
see,
this, no?
paulit-ulit tong temang to di ba? I
Yeah.
mean, it's, we just had Mr. Yap. Prior to that, we had Robbie C. Earlier this week, we've had a lot of conversations. A lot of things really start from the most basic thing of mobility, of getting literally moving. Di ba? We keep talking about getting the economy moving again, and we keep starting on the discussion about literally moving our people from point A to point B, if that's possible at all, especially with social distancing, especially with less capacity and all the protocols that have to be followed.
Well, yung literal moving from point A to point B dito sa port area and Manila, City of Manila, sa Quiapo, napakaraming tindang bisikleta. So many bicycles. Sometimes, for women, ang gaganda ng kulay, may pink, may ano, kung ano-ano, meron pang trainer wheels yung pwede sa akin, hindi ako marunong.
Magkano sa port?
As, kung hindi brand new, I think you can get as low as 2,000 eh.
Ganun nga eh.
But I remember, Ami, front page nyo last week, there was a series of pictures on the Philippine Star, mga nagbibisikleta along EDSA, and we were pointing out the bicycles were actually moving more people than the cars were moving in that same picture.
Saka walang traffic eh, hindi ka masyadong maaabala, no? Kaya lang unfortunately kanina, yung isang mama siguro masyadong na-stress na, napagod, namatay, na-aksidente, he died, unfortunately. Tinulungan siya ng MMDA, but he's a bit advanced in age, kaya medyo napagod, mukha daw napagod, na bagsak, na tumama yung ulo, yan ang problema. Siguro we need more bike stations, di ba, Roberts? Mr. C talked about it.
Right. And he was also citing, di ba sabi niya, there are actually studies that highlight that that seem to suggest that actually yung mga nagmamaneho sa loob ng kotse, sa loob ng traffic, mas matindi yung sinasapo na carbon monoxide at saka pollution kaysa yung nagbibisikleta sa labas.
Kasi at least nag-circulate yung hangin, ano? Especially ngayon, medyo konti tao. Hindi na yata natin maibabalik yung guest natin. Unfortunately, Mr. John Forbes, we cannot connect. Yan ang problema. Siguro kailangan talagang Google is going to offer its own another streaming service. Para similar to this, I think all the tech giants are trying to improve their services. Nakikita nila puro ganito eh. Teleconference, broadcast media. So we hope na next time maybe we can get Mr. John Forbes again and to talk more about the business confidence given this situation. No? Robbie, maybe you can talk about it. You've been talking to businessmen.
Well, I can. What I can talk about is the same questions that we wanted to ask John Forbes. Just this morning, or no, rather yesterday, former BSP Deputy Governor Diwa Gunigundo had a column on Business World where he was really starting from a position of even prior to COVID. We looked at the GDP numbers of the first quarter of the Philippines. There was a contraction there, 0.2%. Contraction year on year. And he was saying even prior to COVID, yes, we started off, of course, with the Taal volcano eruption as well, disrupted a lot of activities in Metro Manila as well. But ang point niya is dehado talaga yung pinag-uumpisahan natin. And he was saying, he was also talking about, if we're already losing trillions of pesos because of where we are right now, what's another 100 billion pesos to spend on the testing, and all of these things that we need to put in place, the testing, the contact tracing, and so on. And his bottom line was, we need all of this because business thrives on confidence, he said. And if you don't put all of these things in place, then nobody has confidence. Very basic thing that Diwa Gunigundo was trying to reintroduce and emphasize in the conversation.
Well, we hope we can talk about confidence again with Mr. John Forbes of the American Chamber of Commerce. So,
there's another story pala that came out today. I think we should also mention this as well. We're talking about COVID-19 and all. By June, when the MECQ ends, they're looking at a possibility na gawin nilang zonal yung quarantines. In other words, you're looking at not even barangays smaller than barangays yung zoning areas. You have special zoning areas that are locked down. For example, from this street to that street. Not necessarily entire barangays anymore or not necessarily entire towns anymore. So mukhang doon nag-zero in, nag-zoom in yung mga quarantines.
Pagka sinabi nilang targeted, it doesn't refer to anything of a particular size. As you said, it could be a barangay, it could be a sitio,
it could be
a specific subdivision. Oh, it could be
Yeah.
a suite. It could even be a specific apartment complex. Or
It's actually like what they're doing right now in Parañaque. In Parañaque, for example, in Barangay Baclaran, you have only certain streets in Baclaran that are cordoned off, not the entire barangay.
Yes.
So that's already being done right now. So mukhang doon
Siguro-
patungo, sabi ni Carlito Galvez, yung by June 1, baka doon na tayo patungo.
Well, baka merong announcement on Monday. Alam niyo naman, di ba? We're expecting Monday announcements from Malacanang. Baka may sabihin si President Duterte by
Ay,
Monday.
Tuesday na yun.
Baka Tuesday na yun.
Early morning.
Holiday Monday. Remind
Holiday!
natin.
Oh! Eid Mubarak sa Monday. Idil Fitr starts tomorrow night until
Eid Mubarak,
Sunday night. And then we can say Eid Mubarak to our friends. Tapos sabi nga pala ni NCRPO Chief Debold Sinas, he's warning against mass gatherings in Metro Manila during the Eid Fitr. Ironic, di ba?
Manyanita lang ang pwede.
Malinaw po malinaw.
Manyanita lang ang pwede.
Nagbabala si Debold Sinas laban sa mass gatherings during the Eid Fitr. Pero pag manyanita, pwede siguro. Pero yung Eid Fitr, delikado tayo doon.
Okay. We'll wait for an announcement then Tuesday morning.
Most
Okay.
likely.
Talagang chinustay na eh.
Okay na.
Sige, any other big stories that we missed out on today, or we did not talk about today, or we move on na?
There are more hungry people, but I think that's pretty obvious yung survey ng SWS, ano?
Yeah, pero surprisingly, it's still lower than the 2014 hunger rate that we had, which was at 20-something%. So ngayon kasi nasa 18% tayo eh.
Nakatulong yung social amelioration program.
Malaking bagay rin kasing social amelioration dahil you're giving out 100 billion per month eh. Talagang dole out.
Yeah.
So kung hindi pa nagka-epekto yun, ewan ko na.
Tapos ulitin lang natin yung headline nila, Ami, bukas. Wala pong extension sa payment ng taxes. So maganda na po tayo. Bottom line, we have to figure it out.
Okay.
Or get in touch with your accountant this early. Huwag niyo hintayin yung June 15.
Okay.
So I guess we move on tonight. That will be all for this special edition of the Chiefs. We hope what was discussed here, including what the three of us lang discussed here, will keep the conversation going. I'm Edwin Gapua News.
I'm Mami Paminton of the Philippine Star.
I'm Robbie Alampay, and we are One News.